My name is Wei Mayan. And once again, I'm too terrified to sleep. I found a fishing group chat on my boyfriend's WeChat. Someone said they caught a premium big fish last night. A bubble eye, 90 pounds. I found it very strange. Isn't a bubble eye a type of goldfish? How could there be a 90-pound goldfish? And although I don't know much about fishing, I've never heard of anyone fishing for goldfish. Reading further down, someone mentioned my boyfriend. Doesn't Song Ming love bubble eyes the most? The one at his place is also a premium catch, 95 pounds with even bigger eyes. I instantly became alert. It seemed they weren't talking about fish at all. Because I weigh exactly 95 pounds, and my boyfriend used to joke about my big eyes. He had even said it directly to me before. Then someone tagged him. Song Ming, you must be tired of eating your own fish by now, right? It's time to bring her out for the brothers to taste. My boyfriend replied. No problem, I'll arrange it for tonight. My heart skipped a beat. Just as I was waiting for the next messages, the WeChat account was suddenly logged out. Not long after that, I received a call from my boyfriend. Baby, are you free tonight? I have a gathering with some friends. Come with me. I had seen those messages on his laptop. I go to work 2 hours later than him, because my company needed some data processed urgently this morning. I used the laptop he had left at home. His WeChat was still logged in on the computer. After I sent my files, on a whim, I clicked open his WeChat. Apart from the messages in this group chat, there was no other chat history at all. Obviously, every time he logged in, he chose not to sync recent messages. And he would clear his chat history every single time. He just forgot to log out last night. After seeing the chat history in their group, my mind immediately jumped to some deeply sickening conclusions. And right when my suspicions peaked, my phone rang. I frantically picked up the call. My boyfriend's sweet voice came from the other end. Baby, are you free tonight? I have a gathering with some friends. Come with me. Recalling his last sentence in the group chat, my heart instantly started racing. Pushing aside my doubts and disgust, I was consumed by an inexplicable fear. Tonight? I have plans tonight. I have to work overtime. Oh, right. It might be really late today, so I won't come over tonight. I'll sleep at my own place. I made up a lie on the spot. After rejecting him, I didn't dare to stay at his place either. At this moment, I felt a wave of relief. Thankfully, the lease on my own apartment hasn't expired yet. And I haven't returned the keys. I plan to stay there for a while, until I figured everything out. There was a moment of silence on the phone. Then I heard my boyfriend's slightly disappointed tone. All right then. Just then, the computer suddenly made a loud startup sound. I screamed "oh no" in my head. In my panic to shut it down earlier, I accidentally clicked restart. My heart was literally in my throat. I wasn't sure if my boyfriend heard the sound. Would he realize I saw the group chat history? What would he do to me? But thankfully, he didn't mention the computer. After chatting casually for a bit, he hung up. Only then did I realize my hands were completely covered in cold sweat. After a moment, I decided to send him a text message. I need to use your laptop. I have an urgent company file to process. Does it have a password? He quickly replied. No. Go ahead and use it. The reason I told him this was because I remembered. I had just used his document software. My files would appear in his recent cloud sync. So I might as well tell him. Anyway, he had already been logged out of WeChat. This would prove my innocence. After finishing everything as I was leaving, I intentionally left some unimportant things behind to make it look like my usual routine. But walking on the way to the office, my heart was still pounding wildly. My boyfriend's fishing group. Is it really what I think it is? What did they mean? What did my boyfriend's words mean? Right then, my phone chimed with a WeChat notification. It was from my boyfriend. Another friend's girlfriend couldn't make it either. So the dinner is cancelled. We changed it to fishing. If you get off work early, come hang out. I'll teach you night fishing. Then he sent a location pin. I tapped open the location. It indeed looked like a riverside. And it wasn't too isolated. At this point, I was deeply confused. Was what he said true or false? After hesitating for a long time, I replied, okay. Got it. We'll see how it goes. For the rest of the day, I was completely distracted. I kept thinking about my boyfriend's messages. Finally, I made a bold decision. To go see the situation for myself. Of course, I didn't tell him. That evening, I intentionally stayed back for overtime. I waited until past PM. Then I video called my boyfriend from the office. He picked up quickly. After purposely showing him I was still at the company, I feigned a disappointed tone and said, "Looks like I really can't make it today. You guys have fun." I looked at the video feed. My boyfriend was indeed by a river. There were several fishing rods in the background. It really looked like a gathering spot for anglers. My boyfriend comforted me a bit. That's a shame. Next time then, rest early after you finish your overtime. My friends and I will probably be out quite late. I won't disturb you. Hanging up the video call, I immediately shut down my computer and left. By the time I took a taxi near his fishing spot, it was already around PM. Even though the spot wasn't too remote. At 10 o'clock at night, there were barely any pedestrians left on the road. There was a row of woods by the river. Several streetlights were broken. In the pitch black, I could only faintly make out a few silhouettes, and a car parked by the river. Plus, the night wind was blowing, howling in bursts, sending chills down my spine. I was both nervous and terrified, but driven by curiosity. I still carefully approached their fishing spot. Luckily, the lighting was extremely dim. I figured they wouldn't notice me. I silently crept to the edge of the woods. I could finally see my boyfriend clearly. He was sitting on a small stool behind a fishing rod, chatting with the people around him. Their voices were carried by the wind, drifting into my ears intermittently. "Song-ming, it's really a shame about tonight. Both your girl and Wang Qi's girl had things to do. Otherwise, we could have had a little BBQ right here." My boyfriend replied, "Can't help it, she's busy with work. We'll make it up another day." "You said it, you're organizing next time. Set the time in advance." My boyfriend. "No problem." Listening to them, the conversation seemed perfectly normal. I started to waver. Maybe their fishing group was genuine. And even if guys occasionally made crude jokes, wasn't that normal? I hesitated, wondering if I should walk out now. But I didn't know how to explain my presence. Just then, a girl's voice joined the conversation. "Yeah, brother Song. My Liu Hao says you always brag about your girlfriend being a huge beauty. Bring her out so we can meet her. I haven't been here long. I don't know many people. Maybe we could become besties. Judging by her tone, this girl must be one of the plus ones from the fishing group. A family member. My boyfriend replied to her. Then I'll thank you in advance on her behalf. She just moved here this year too. You guys will definitely be good friends. The doubts in my heart were completely swept away. There were even girls present. And they sounded like they got along perfectly well. There was absolutely no problem. So I decided to step out. I already had my excuse ready. I'd say it was a surprise for him. But just as I was about to take a step, the man sitting next to the girl stood up. He looked around. I instinctively stopped in my tracks. Brothers, it's about time, right? I don't see anyone around. Time to eat the fish. Eat the fish? What fish? The girl asked, immediately confused. I also found it baffling. But none of the three men answered her. Instead, I heard a faint, sinister snicker. Immediately after, I saw the man who stood up lean down and whisper something into the girl's ear. The girl seemed extremely shocked. Then I saw her stand up abruptly. But before she could make a sound, the man beside her suddenly had something in his hand. He viciously clamped it over the girl's face. The girl instantly went limp. I was completely paralyzed by the scene. My previous dark suspicions about them instantly flooded back into my brain. No. It was far worse than I had imagined. The man, with the help of another companion, was dragging the girl into the car. Song Ming also stood up. I wanted to save that girl. Even though I was trembling uncontrollably, I still pulled out my phone. I opened the camera, intending to record evidence of their crime first and then immediately report it. But right at that moment, of all times, my phone suddenly rang. My heart almost stopped beating entirely. I frantically switched it to silent. But in that split second, I saw it. Song Ming turned around and glanced right at my hiding spot. I was terrified out of my mind. I immediately turned and fled toward the main road. I sprinted to the street in one breath. Just as a taxi was driving by, I hurriedly dove into the car. Only then did I dare to look back at the direction I ran from. It was pitch black behind me. Thank God no one had chased after me. I finally let out a long breath. Now I realized, my whole body was so weak I had zero strength. Only my heart was pounding violently in my chest. After several deep breaths, I wiped the sweat from my forehead. My brain finally started working again. Recalling the scene I just witnessed and matching it with the WeChat group messages, I confirmed I was absolutely right. The things they were doing were far more horrifying than I imagined. At the same time, a heavy wave of delayed terror hit me. Even as the taxi drove down the empty streets, I tightly gripped my overheating phone. That sudden, abrupt ringtone was like a thunderstrike. Not only did it expose my location, it completely tore away Song Ming's last layer of disguise. I knew he had seen me. That look when he turned around. There was no surprise. There was no anger. There was only a cold, chilling scrutiny. As if his good mood had been interrupted. That wasn't the look of a lover. It was the look of a hunter watching his prey escape the trap. I didn't dare go back to his place. And I didn't dare go back to the office. I told the driver to take me to a large 24-hour shopping mall. After paying, I practically scrambled into the densely populated, brightly lit area. Only in the crowd could I temporarily feel a shred of safety. I hid in a corner of the mall, leaning against the cold wall panels, panting heavily. My phone buzzed in my hand. It was a call from Song Ming. I didn't dare answer it. Nor did I dare hang up. I knew that once I hung up, it would be a declaration of war. With trembling hands, I sent him a message, using all my strength to mimic my usual slightly naive and terrified tone, sob. I was just scared to death. I saw some bad people. I ran the wrong way. I almost dropped my phone. It terrified me. I'm in a mall now, I don't dare to move. I was gambling. Gambling that he wasn't sure how much I actually saw. Gambling that he still wanted to maintain his human disguise. Gambling that he wouldn't dare attack me in public. The call quickly ended. Song Ming replied to my text. Don't be afraid, send me your location. I'll come pick you up right away. Don't run around. Seeing the words, don't run around, the blood in my veins ran cold. This wasn't concern. This was a command. I knew I couldn't actually send my location, but I couldn't ignore it either. I had to stall for time. I had to create an illusion. I replied, I'm so scared, I don't dare look at the map. I'm at the KFC on the basement floor of Waimea Mall. Hurry, I'm waiting for you. After sending it, I immediately deleted the chat history, switched my phone to silent, and shoved it deep into my bag. Then, through another fire exit, I silently slipped upstairs and blended into the crowd leaving the movie theater. I needed a place to hide myself. A place he would absolutely never think of. I remembered the apartment I hadn't moved out of yet, and the small attic filled with old stuff. It was dark, damp and covered in dust, like a forgotten corner of the world. But right now, it was my safest fortress. I took a taxi and drove around in circles 3 times. After making sure I wasn't being followed, I crept back to that dilapidated stairwell in the dark. The lock clicked. I slipped inside, deadbolted the door and pulled the heavy curtains shut. The entire world instantly plunged into silence. The only sound was my heart hammering against my ribs. I curled up in the corner piled with junk. I didn't dare turn on the light. I didn't dare make a single sound. I don't know how much time passed. Footsteps echoed from downstairs. Very light, very steady. Step by step. Stepping on the rusted stairs, emitting a piercing scraping sound. It was him. He had found this place. The footsteps stopped at the attic door. There was no knocking. Only a long, suffocating silence. Time ticked by slowly. Every second felt as long as a century. Suddenly, his voice came from outside. That gentle, sickening voice. Seeping through the door panel. Carrying a bizarrely magnetic tone. Baby, I know you're in there. Don't hide, come on out. It's cold outside. I tightly covered my mouth, forcing myself not to let out a single whimper. I know what you saw. His voice dropped lower, carrying a hint of cruel amusement. But don't be afraid. I won't treat you like I treated her. After all, you are the premium catch I've been raising for so long. Open the door. As long as you're a good girl, tonight will still be just the 2 of us. Otherwise, he paused. His tone turned sinister. If this old attic collapsed, no one would know, right? Despair drowned me like a tidal wave. I stared at the thick wooden stick in the corner, used for propping up an easel. My fingers slowly reached for it. The person outside was still waiting patiently, like waiting for a fish to take the bait. And I knew, from the moment he stepped through that door, either he dies, or I die. This hunt has just begun.